We continue with Win-Win South. We are discussing innovation. And another very important aspect, this is our fourth block. We are doing it with good pace, where capital meets innovation. Green on the global investment map. While we are getting ready for this scene setting, let me remind you of some house rules. And you start posting on the materials of this after 6 p.m. tomorrow. Don't keep it low in the part of this room where you are networking. We can expect some blackout, and in that case we'll have to switch to a backup generator. It will take a very short while in darkness before they take over. Now we have discussed prototypes. This book is dedicated to architecture, fund and partnership, public partnership with the private sector. The panel discussion is called Financing the Future. Now we have our participants from BNP Paribas. Maria Claudia Pachon, Senior Digital Technology Specialist, Digital ECA, the World Bank. Olena Smirnova, Director and Head of Ukraine Office from Swedfund International. Greetings. Ron Dupush, Chairman of the Management of Board, Yuxim Bank, BNP Paribas Group. Maria Shevchuk, acting as our moderator, Executive Director, IT Ukraine Association.
I followed Natalia's speech and we'll do our panel in English. Thank you, my great panelists, for your time, actually for your expertise. Today we will talk about innovation, investment, and how actually international financial institutions support Ukraine's future. So let's begin. I would like to start probably with the super small but super short question to you, but all my panelists. What role do you see for financial institution in building innovative economy? More supportive or more driving? We can talk one by one, but super short is one short message.
Hi everyone, glad to be here. Thank you very much for the invitation. So here I will be short. Well, I think that the main drivers of innovation are entrepreneurs who bring the ideas to life. But innovation and capital comes hand in hand because capital seeks the best innovative projects, while innovation, of course, needs capital to develop.
Thank you. I'll be a little bit longer than that, but again, thank you to the Ministry for the invitation and for having us here. I'm a digital specialist from the World Bank, and we've been working with the Ministry for a couple of years now. So we're very happy to be here participating. So I will also talk a little bit more about what the role of a financial institution like ours plays in supporting or driving innovation. And I think for us, it's increasingly a dual role, which is we support innovation-driven economies as an enabler on innovation, and mostly by supporting countries in developing their policy and regulatory support, by building capacity and providing resources to build capacity. Obviously, by doing infrastructure investments on foundational infrastructure, and that's physical across different sectors, and also soft infrastructure, meaning education, health, governance, and sort of more the softer part. And also, as a knowledge bank, we try to generate knowledge and increase dissemination about best practices and what is happening across the different regions in the world. We also provide financing and incentives for innovation. That's either through directly funding through our loans, our grants, etc. And also more increasingly, and particularly in countries like Ukraine, catalyzing private sector investments and really trying to mobilize private capital in the different sectors and trying to de-risk and mitigate risks.
To be honest, this is one of my questions, so do not answer it beforehand, because I would like to see more practice results of the de-risking model that you actually have inside the World Bank. But I will stop you here because you were following all my future questions probably, and we'll switch to Laurent with the short. I will answer supporting or driving.
Both.
Both? Oh,
To be short, both.
Probably from the banking sector, you're more active in in supporting. Maria Claudia, I would like to back to you. I'm definitely support your message that probably financial institution, bank, payment system, like international organization, really often acts like enablers for innovation and actually enablers of change, because you help innovation happen from the very beginning. But from the global perspective on digital transformation, how does the World Bank measure if digital transformation brings real result? Probably higher productivity or more transparency. And one more question, what institutional conditions are most important to make digital projects become real drivers of economic growth and not only expensive IT systems?
Okay, so let me go one by one. So what we as an institution are doing is to really try to mobilize all different capital and really trying to now develop new tools to de-risk investments. And by that I mean we do some public sector investment, a lot of it in policy and regulation, as I was mentioning. Then we have also our private sector team and the International Finance Corporation that invests much more directly on private sector companies that provides different kind of blended capital and also equity funding. And then we also have our guarantee platform, which provides also guarantees to both the public and the private sector to invest and come in more into the sector. I think that's quite important for us to be able to invest and de-risk. On your second question a bit on how do we think about the dividends, I think, and kind of what...
the real results, yeah. How do you measure the real results?
How do you measure the real results? And I think we measure and look at it in a few ways. We look at this as, question of inclusion and making sure that everybody has the same type of access to services. And we measure it by tracking measures, for example, like adults using digital payments, the growth of mobile money accounts, and the ability of firms to access new markets through digital platforms. And we've seen some good results in a number of countries. We also look at it through the lens of efficiency and digital technologies enhancing productivity. And I think we'll talk a bit more about that, improving business processes, and something that we've seen today a lot is streamlining government services and making government services more efficient. And there's several examples of that we have. And then obviously we see it through the innovation lens that allows to sort of lower transaction costs, digital platforms fostering new business models and services. So we have, as I mentioned, quite a range of tools that we use to help countries on this, and really measuring through some of these different lenses, which involve really looking at also growth and making sure that everybody is included in the journey.
Thank you. Thank you for this insight. I also agree that digital transformation is super powerful. It's sometimes it's really hard to measure the like right on time results. But right now we see and we heard a lot about artificial intelligence, a lot of expectation related to the like data and actually artificial intelligence. I would like to back to the banking sector. Learn to you. Today at the summit, AI have a really special place. We have a different balance, different wave, and actually related to the AI. In your opinion, what role of data and artificial intelligence play in the future of financial services related in the right now in the banking sector?
Thank you, Maria, for your question. I would say, like all economic sectors, AI, data will have a great impact. If you are not ready to think and to accept the disruptions, you will be totally disrupted. AI, for me, and in the financial sector, for sure, we should see it as a way to answer a very specific questions. What can we do with AI we were not able to do before? And it will be a way for us, in fact, to use beneficially AI. So I like more than AI, it's BI, beneficial intelligence, in fact. We can see a lot of applications in AI in the financial sector. Of course, in terms of augmented people, augmented customer, augmented employees. The idea is, with this new technology, how to do more, how to increase the capabilities, how to equip employees of the banking sector, financial sectors, but also customers with a virtual assistant, with additional capabilities to do more. So we believe a lot on that. We see it as not a limitation or exclusion, but as a capability, possibility to do more, to augment the capabilities. It's super important. It allows also, together with digitalizations, RPA, robotizations, of course, to gain efficiency, to, especially in the financial sector, to reduce operational risk. So we have a lot of applications. We are only at the early stage, but very important. It will be fast, it will be exponential, and let's take it as augmented capacities. And at the heart of AI, you have data. Data, it's the culture of the financial world. We know how to use data, how to secure data, and how to validate and goldenize data. So data is very important. It has been said during different panels. So data, trusted data, an efficient data is a minimum to have if we want to do something with AI. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Really, really interesting, and I have a lot of thought related to it. But now I would like to look probably on the development, finance, and the long-term sustainable investment. And Elena, I would like to probably back to you. Swedfund is quite new in Ukraine, and can you tell more, probably related to the investment instrument does Swedfund use, and how do you apply them in your key target sectors? Energy, climate, financial inclusion, and fund system. And one more question to you, if you don't mind. As a development finance institution, sustainability is probably key to your mission. How does this impact your investment decision, and how do you adjust your financing criteria to support innovative technology that usually need more time to show the results and to pay back, actually?
Thank you for this question. It gives me an opportunity to tell more about Swedfund. So Swedfund is development finance institution of Sweden. It's funded by Swedish government. It had a portfolio of more than 1 billion investments, and now it has earmarked capital for Ukraine. So it's another way Sweden supports Ukraine. Speaking of Swedfund, we have two major arms at Swedfund. One is the investment organization, where we invest in private companies, private initiatives. We can invest as equity, we can invest debt, we can do direct transactions and indirect transactions. So like provide loans, support private equity funds, support VC funds. We already have a couple of investments in Ukraine, solar power plant, tech-driven private equity fund, an agricultural company, and a couple of more investments are underway. So usually directly we invest in more mature businesses where like we better understand the risks and better understand the profile of the company. And as you mentioned, the industry that we focus are energy and climate, food systems, and financial inclusion, which are different financial institutions. But indirectly, we can support other businesses as well through the PE funds or by supporting banks, which then on lend to smaller SME businesses. And we have another arm at Swedfund, which is Project Accelerator. This is where we work actually with public sector, with state-owned companies, with government, with municipalities. And this is the grant facility. So we fund project preparations, feasibility studies, capacity building for these initiatives, for the projects that are bankable and can like fundraise in the future. And actually Project Accelerator is very active in Ukraine. They have more than 40 projects now with different municipalities in energy, in district heating, in waste management, in healthcare, in digitalization as well. So going back to sustainability, the Swedfund business model is based on three equally important pillars. And this is when it comes to investment organization, how we make investments. First one is financial viability. The projects have to be financially viable because we want to invest and then get the capital back so we can invest again in something else. Then impact on society. We want to invest in the projects that do something good, something positive, create decent jobs, pay taxes, bring essential services to people, have positive environment impact, and sustainability. So here we, of course, do our due diligence and check for the major risks. That can be environmental risks, social risks. The project, the company shall respect human rights, labor rights, provide equal opportunities to the employees, don't harm environment, and things like that, of course. And this is very important for us as DFI. Of course, if when the people do the projects the right way, so don't cut the corners, don't compromise, this sometimes makes the projects more expensive. And we as a DFI, we understand that. We don't provide concessional funding, so our yield interest rates is market-based, but we are very flexible when it comes to tenor. We can be a long-term patient investor. We can do projects 10 years when needed, so when we see that the business model requires that. And also, just to mention our project accelerator, so they are not investing, they are providing grants, but what they are trying to do is bringing unique expertise to Ukraine, bring the best consultants, the best engineers to the country, and they are financing this kind of activity so that Ukraine can become more modern and more innovative.
Thank you very much, Elena. You spoke about the long-term investment, but innovation really starts a lot from on the very, very early stage, from the startups and really small and young companies. And I would like to back to BNP Paribas Group, actually global experience, and run to you at the global support of the young businesses, because innovation is usually, when you spoke first, you see related to the startups. Which tools or programs from your global perspective of the group are most useful for the startups and young companies, and what support can they expect probably from such institution like yours?
Thank you, Maria. You're right. BNP Paribas Group, it's a huge financial group. We are the first banking group in Europe. We are the 8th globally in the world. So to support the ecosystem, we've defined strategies which are at the same time global and local. Global because we are talking about tech, and you need to be global, but also local because you need to source and to be close to the actors. So we defined a strategy, I would say, with 4 pillars. First, we are bankers, and banks, what we have to do is to help our customers to access services, products, financial products. So we have, in many countries, a dedicated workforce set up, customer journey for startups, for tech innovative companies and so on. Especially in France, for instance, we have a network of dedicated business centers with an accelerator. So we know how to talk to them, we understand their needs and so on. In Ukraine, for instance, we are serving more than 100,000 tech engineers, 2,000 tech companies, so we have a huge market share, and we have dedicated also places, branches to serve them, and dedicated customer journey and products. So access to financial products, banking services is very important. It's the first pillar. Second pillar we have in the group is co-creation of products. So together, partnering with tech, fintech, we develop some interesting products. So we had different examples. In Poland, with Blik, we've developed payments for micro businesses. In Europe, in many countries, we develop with the tech, the platform token. We develop also payments and transactions for merchants. So we have in different countries, or regions, we try to together with tech companies to define products. And we have also with the unicorn, the French unicorn Mistral, and we've seen one of our representatives speaking today, we have a global partnership to work with Mistral AI and to develop models with them. Third pillar, to be quick, it's acceleration, development. So we, for instance, in many countries, like in Ukraine, we accelerated some companies, and we manage also to have some contract with them. In France, we have a partnership with Plug and Play, which is a huge international accelerator, and hosted in Station F. We have a program also to accelerate some companies and tech companies and to develop opportunities. Last point will be very short. The fourth pillar of our global strategy could be investment, venture capital. So we are doing it selectively. We are doing it in different areas. And we can also propose to our customers some asset management funds also to attract additional funds. So we see that we have different pillars, and as a global financial player, we try to be very active servicing and developing this sector.
Thank you very much. And today we have a lot of startups and founders of the startups. So this is really interesting information and really useful. And after your stage and financially from the banking system, they can go to the funds or institutional investors like a SVET fund. And probably I would like to talk more about long-term development. And Olena, my question probably to you as an institutional investor: how does SVET fund see its role in encouraging innovation and supporting the long-term transformation, and especially in Ukraine, because today we are talking about the win-win strategy and innovation strategy in Ukraine. Can you tell us some insight from your perspective?
So innovation can happen in the large companies, in the large established companies, when they develop, they modernize, and this is what we try to support directly. We can directly work with the larger entities in Ukraine. We also have the tool which is called technical assistance, is when we already invested in the company and they can come up with the project related to digitalization, for example. So we can provide the grant funding in that case and support this initiative that will improve and modernize the company further. When it comes to the innovations which are like just growing from the beginning, like startup companies, and the really new initiatives, of course, for the institutional investors, it's very difficult to support them directly because you must have this unique expertise and presence and understand certain sectors, subsectors, and this is where we work via funds. So we can, probably like half of the Swedfund portfolio is actually investment into the funds. This is the private equity funds, the VC funds. So that's why we invest in the team that can like then invest further into many projects, hoping to bring innovation in the country or in the region where we operate.
Thank you very much. And what I see that public and private capital just must work together. That this is the only key way of supporting the whole ecosystem. I would like also to follow what Maria Claudia said before related to the de-risking actually about blended finance and risk shaping tools. But I would like to hear more about the World Bank support resilience technologies. And can you give some example of projects with innovation not only restored but improved infrastructure, probably making it more resilient, and how can this experience be used in Ukraine?
I think Ukraine is a remarkable example of digital resilience and using digital resilience technologies. And as I mentioned, for the last 2 years, we've been working with the ministry to understand the risks posed to today's digital systems and mitigation actions. But really, I think what we talk about is a bit on building back better, and what that looks like for the digital ecosystem. So for us, so I think it means a few things. I mean, it means that we have a resilient connectivity, fiber backbones, middle and last mile, that can withstand different risks. In many places, we look through it through the lens of climate and the impact that floods, storms, and heat may have. But here we have focused on the impact of physical threats and cyber attacks. Ultimately, the outcomes are the same. So we need to make it resilient either for climate or others. It means also making sure that we have route diversity, that we don't have single points of failure in the infrastructure, and that we can recover quickly and at low costs. It means that the infrastructure, we have secure and redundant data infrastructure also. And this is very important also as we move towards a more AI-driven economy or more state. We need to make sure that we have disaster recovery, backup sites, energy efficiency in data centers, and also we have continuity plans. Cybersecurity is also very important. It also means that we have a strong what we call DPI, or digital public infrastructure. We have a strong digital ID payment structure, trusted exchange of data, to make sure that services run in crisis. Ukraine is a clear example of how this has been achieved. And we also need to have, trusted governance and standards, making sure that, in particular are aligned with international standards, and particularly here moving towards the EU accession process and making sure that we have that in place. We have some recent examples in some projects that we've been developing that have innovative initiatives around building back better or being more digitally resilient, which we could replicate in Ukraine and could have some benefits. So, for example, in Nigeria, we have a project that is crowding in $1.1 billion of private capital to deploy resilient digital infrastructure under open access, climate resilient, with strong energy efficiency and standards. In the Philippines, for example, we have a digital infrastructure project that is investing financing also in the middle mile fiber, again, being resilient and with a very strong cybersecurity component. In Argentina, we've been strengthening data infrastructure by investing in data centers, resilient data centers, decentralizing edge capacity, and assuring strict uptime times. And like this, we have a number of projects also in the digital public infrastructure services to maintain services, to really move into a modern hybrid cloud approach, to add redundancy and to make sure that we can migrate, for example, the process by which we migrate to the cloud, and making sure that that is also a part of the process. And in addition to that, I think on the side of the World Bank, we've also looked into promoting sort of our guarantee programs and being able to support political risk guarantee and others particularly relevant in the context of Ukraine. So I think some of the lessons we can apply is really, having resilient connectivity, secure government cloud and data resilience, having a digital public infrastructure that keep the services running, and making sure that we have cybersecurity and the appropriate data governance to maintain that, and really trying to find new mechanisms for partnerships that bring together the public, the private, and donors, because it is increasingly more a question of public support, but with private investment and crowding in as much as private investment we can. And we see that in Ukraine, this is a very active market, and we see more as putting in sort of foundations to make things happen on the private sector.
Maria Claudia, thank you very much for these important examples. We have only 3 minutes to the end of the panel, so I would like to have a final question to all my panelists today. Looking into the near future, what will the innovation financing model look like? Will it be classic tools like loans, venture capital, or grants, or some new form of partnership that we are already talking about today? What do you personally believe in? And I would like to ask you to be super short, just 1 minute for answer. Olena, probably we will start with you.
Well, I think we can't avoid the old instruments like loans and equity investments. There's no other way around. But I agree that partnerships that you are driving innovation, for example, between the banks and fintech companies, between the energy companies and tech providers that can make them more efficient. This is very important. So this is kind of business supporting business shall drive innovation as well here.
Thank you. Maria Claudia.
So I think it's all of the above. It's some of the classical, more topics we were talking about, which is there is a role for the government, there's a role for the private sector, there's a role for blended financing, seed, venture, growth capital. But I think increasingly we think also of finding newer ways to look at things, and maybe also thinking about how we become a bit more impact-driven, results-driven. So those are things that we have been moving a bit as an institution towards, and also trying to pull in investors and pulling in market aggregation. So we have also new instruments that have sort of a guarantee platform that allows to pull different parts of our institution together under one guarantee platform that provides not only political risk, but other types, partial guarantees for different programs, etc. So really looking into these PPP sort of models increasingly more, and really trying to figure out what the best way to look into the softer environment in terms of policy, and how we use instruments like sandboxes that have been being used here to try to find the correct environment and the correct regulatory environment to move innovation quickly.
Thank you very much.
To complement, because I fully subscribe, so no magic formula, a lot of ingredients, so different recipe, I would say. But maybe to look at it through another angle, what is super important? Maybe it's not the innovative financing, but it's be able to attract the financing, and how to do it, especially to be able to finance innovations and to scale up innovation and tech companies. It's about trust, transparency, and governance. If not, there is no financing. So to be innovative, it's to be trustable, totally transparent, proper governance. And maybe for big institutions like ours, is to trust also those startups, those new companies, those innovative companies, and to accept them, to have them as a supplier, so to give them contract. Because the best financing for tech, it's to have customers, in fact. You know, it's to have a good business plan and to scale up. So just to complement what was said. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you all my dear speakers for your insights and for all this actually discussion. And once again, thank you for all your support that you done before and still doing for Ukraine and for Ukrainian tech ecosystem, and done for the innovation ecosystem in Ukraine. So thank you once again, because we have like our European future ahead, so we need to do like quicker, faster, and moving probably one step ahead. But then thank you for this support. Thank you, everyone, and we can go back.